Hey, welcome back down here to the garden spot, and as you can tell, it's rained some more and we're down here in the mud, but we've got green beans that really need to be picked. Now, I see a lot of comments on YouTube or Facebook gardening channels that talk about green beans and that if you pick them, they'll produce more. Well, technically, I've never seen that difference in them. However, if that's what you feel comfortable with doing, then by all means do it. But down here at the garden spot, as you can tell, right through here, there's not a lot of green beans. There are a couple on the lower branches, but most of your green bean growth is going to be up at the top. And as this plant matures and keeps growing, it's going to put out more blooms and more blooms. So what you need to do is make sure that your runners are on that trellis, because once these green bean vines get broke, that's it for them. They won't grow anymore. Not in that direction. And as you can tell, I've got a lot of green beans to pick, so we'll be right back. So stay tuned, hang around, make yourself at home, because we're down here in the garden spot and we enjoy having you. Hey, if you ever come to your garden and you see your corn stalks are up and then you've got one that's kind of broke down, chances are you've got a raccoon problem. Now, they also crave tomatoes for some reason, and as you can see in my hand, this is what you're going to get. They'll simply eat out the center. It's pretty neat how they do it, but it's also aggravating. Now, today I've done some picking, and honestly, we have got so much stuff down here that's coming in ripe and ready. There's no way I'm going to be able to use all this. So you got to remember, we've got less than $100 in both of our spots. And right now I've got a 5-gallon bucket of green beans alone, 2 gallons of cucumbers, 1.5 gallons of squash, and different varieties. So it's coming along pretty good, and I've still got to get some potatoes up and the rest of the tomatoes. So hang loose and I'll show you exactly what we're going to wind up with today from the garden spot. Well, we've got done picking, and I went ahead and dug one row of our potatoes up, as you can see by the bucket. So we've got cucumbers, we've got tomatoes, we've got potatoes, we've got green beans, we've got squash. Whew, we got a little bit of everything here. So we're going to get this stuff on up to the house, if I can get across that creek, and get these things washed up, get them ready to go in the house, and wind up cooking some of this fresh produce for tonight's supper. So bear with me just a minute while I tote these things up there. We'll break out the water hose, clean them up, get them ready. I need more buckets. We've got our buckets empty, and it's hard to believe that about 6 pounds of green beans, or 8, probably about 6, a few pounds of cucumbers, probably around 5 or 6, a few pounds of tomatoes, 5 pieces of squash, some scallop squash, zucchini, jalapeno peppers, and potatoes came out of that garden that was under 30 by 30. The majority of this stuff did come out of these smaller spots. The reason for that was we had to get some of that stuff up because of all the rain. Man, it's just killing us. And I was afraid that the tomatoes were going to split. Now, some of the cucumbers came from the big garden, but the majority of this is out of the 30 by 30. And you'll have to excuse me, I'm getting soaked here. I look at these tomatoes and I hear people say, you know, wow, look at the size of that. I love to see your harvest because of the size. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is a pink girl, okay? This is a very good tomato for tomato sandwiches, things of that nature. But I couldn't let them ripen up because we've got a raccoon and a bird problem going on. And I do not know where I placed my red Christmas ornaments, the round balls. I usually hang those along the tomato bushes, and it distracts the birds a little bit because they're shiny and the birds will go to those. However, this is a patty squash, some people call it. We call it a scallop squash. You can see the size of it versus a tomato. And this isn't the only one like that. I've got several right here in the pile that are that size. Now, show me another gardener on YouTube that has a lot of subscribers, that a lot of people listen to, that can grow a tomato this size, honestly. I mean, without a bunch of soil amendments. This is a very simple process the way we plant. And you know, even for normal sized tomatoes, which is about that, that's what you're going to get in the grocery store. Sorry, I got water dripping in my eyes. But there's nothing better than being able to grow your own produce. And that's what we try to accomplish on this channel. The only difference is it doesn't cost as much for me to grow it as it would if I went by some of the other advice that I hear out there. Under 30 bucks, here you go. All right, so just look at these tomatoes. Now, nowhere during my growing process have I ever mentioned any soil additives except for, you know, a little bit of compost and some manure. And that's all. I'm not on here to try to push some magic fairy garden dust. I'm not. There's a couple of YouTube channels out there that have online stores and they're pushing their products. I'm not going to push a product on you. However, in the coming months, we're actually looking into starting an online store where we offer seeds and things of that nature. Now, would we come back with a soil amendment? Maybe not. If I do, it will be done correctly with what your ground might need. It'll be different stages. So, that's the news on that. We are looking for all organic heirloom seeds. Now, I'm not a big organic person. Many of you know that who watch my channel. But I'm willing to try anything. The raised beds, we're considering that. We really are. Because if I want to show you how to do something, I've got to put myself in your situation. And several of you guys are growing in buckets, you're growing in raised beds, flower beds, limited space. And next year, we're going to address some of those issues in my video series. And every time we do a video series, we're going to try to drop that dollar amount down. I want to be able to save you as much money as possible, but you still get the results like this. Now, personally, this is a sign of bad gardening. Yeah, this should have never gotten that big, but it was hid under some leaves. I didn't see it. So I know somebody that loves these guys, cut up and put on a grill, and this is where this one's going. However, I'm not much on produce that get ginormous like that. But hey, if you're not a subscriber, please do so. Leave us a comment, hit like, give us some input, give us some ideas of what you might want to see on this channel. We'll be glad to look at it, look into it, and if it's cost feasible, hey, I'll do it for you. But I just want to say thanks to all the subscribers. We finally topped the 1,000 mark, and that's not bad considering where we were a couple of months ago. I started this channel last year, and it done beekeeping, and it evolved into gardening, and now it's pretty much just a gardening channel. And I really do enjoy the gardening part. And I enjoy some of the comments I get and the interactions. in between subscribers that I've got. Really great. So guys, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my little old pitiful heart. And right now it's pretty wet. But I really do enjoy it. So remember, hit like, subscribe, leave us a comment, give us a few days. It may take a while to get to you, but I promise we'll get to you as soon as we can with an answer or an idea that may help you out. So I'm the Gardener Rebel, Todd, and hopefully I'll see you next time down at the garden spot. You can slap a tater on that. We're done.